Hello and welcome. My name is Benjamin Webb. I am an actor, writer and director, but importantly for this video series, I am a theatre reviewer for The Scoop Australia. This year I've seen over 100 theatre shows, reviewed over 50 of them and done 2 feature articles. Over the past 3 weeks I've talked at length about my thoughts on other people's shows. So today I'm going to stop and give you what are, in my opinion, the best 5 performances of my career so far. The obvious joke to make here is that it's all of them. While I'm talking, be sure to join me down below in the comment section and give me your picks for the best show you've seen me in. Or, let's play a game. What show do you think I would be good in? Fan cast me as your favourite characters down below. My picks are not the right picks, they're just my picks, and I would love to see yours. With that out of the way, let's get started. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Yabfest with ATYP. If you don't know what Yabfest is or what ATYP is the Australian Theatre for Young People, and Yabfest is the culmination of a year-long program of Yabbies, the Youth Advisory Board, as part of ATYP. It's like 70 young people that write, direct, act, produce, market all these shows together. It's sort of like a scratch night where you have 10-minute performances, and what I did this year was a script by Jack Batchelor called Thank You 5. Now it is sort of an in-joke with the group of Yabbies from this year, or the Yab, as I should call them. But the script itself was super fun about a whole bunch of community theatre actors coming to put on this show for one night with an audience of very little. I got to play a super fun character, which is the most pompous, up himself actor in the world. I made an offer to our director that I should come in and have a jacket and throw it at someone just because he has no awareness or care about anyone else that is there. What was fun about him was that I got to sort of play 3 different roles in one, sort of the facade of who he's trying to be, which is a very posh upper class guy. And then when he's acting as the character he's supposed to be in the play within the play, he's very restrained and forward and trying to be the most serious actor he possibly can, and he's very bad. And then the sort of when you break down the facade and see the person behind the actor trying to be an actor, he's this very scared, timid little man. So that was fun to play. I got to direct as part of Yabfest this year as well, which is always fun. And Mum gave me the idea with this video that each of the shows should have a first. So the first for Yabfest is that technically, this is my first time on the ATYP Rebel Theatre stage. So technically, I've made my ATYP debut. That's why it comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is going to be The Red Coat by John Patrick Stanley. This one was a little bit hard to come to because it was technically the first thing I did after graduating high school. I went and did a diploma of theatre and screen acting at a now former acting school called Sydney Theatre School. And this was our Term 1 showcase. If you don't know what the story is, it's a one-act play that tells the story of an encounter between 2 teenagers, John and Mary. It's late and they're both going to the same party. They both sort of know each other, sort of, and they meet up on the sidewalk later. John basically sort of blurts out that he has been in love with Mary for a long time. They talk and they kiss. And so it was so beautiful to have this be the first thing that you encounter out of high school, the first time you're a actual actor, which is crazy. And so, yes, as you can probably tell, the first as part of this show is it was my first onstage kiss. And it was, I know a lot of people, I know a lot of actors have a really difficult time, a really negative time with their first onstage kiss because it's not set up well, the person they're doing it with isn't great, the director wasn't awesome, but for me, none of that was true. I felt really well set up, the actress I was across from was really sweet and endearing, and we were able to get through it together, and then the director was really clear about what we had to do and how we had to do it. And then setting all of that aside, when we actually performed it over the 3 nights of the showcase, it is the only time thus far that I have been able to experience me and the other actor, and then the audience completely goes away. It was so magical, it was so breathtaking, and I've been trying to chase that feeling ever since of just being in the scene with the other actor, so present that literally everything else melts away. And so that's why it comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is going to be In Living Memory, as part of Originate at the Joan Sutherland Performing Arts Centre. In Living Memory was a devised physical work created with the Originate 2023 ensemble, and it remains one of the most demanding and rewarding projects I've been a part of. It was something that the 7 of us made up. And so the first that goes along with in living memory is that it was the first time I got to devise, to make something with a whole bunch of other people. And that was something I was really proud of. One of the really awesome things about this 6-month devising program was we got to work with some of the most incredible creatives in Sydney. Particularly Shimei Nuzevic, sorry Shimei if I pronounced that wrong, please let me know, as well as Anthony Brandon Wong, Felicity Jurt, and how could I forget our wonderful director, Shai Magzalin. The piece asked us to dive into like personal and collective memory, grief, history, inheritance. It was sort of based on our experiences or created experiences of the bushfires in Sydney. And so we had this really interesting dynamic where we had a fire drill that sort of opened and then came back in the show and was really effective and had a great impact on the audience, and we got to chat to people afterwards. Translating that into movement and image and atmosphere. And under Shai's direction, I learned to trust stillness, restraint, and ensemble storytelling in a new way. It stretched me, and I'm really proud of the work that we made. Hopefully it might come back in some capacity later down the line. That's why it comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, and this is very difficult, I would place 1 and 2 on equal footing if I could, but coming in at number 2 is playing Jack Decapitated in Titanic, The Diamond of Dreams at the Richmond Players. Playing Jack was an absolute gift. The story of how I got there is a little bit crazy. I had not yet put together throughout my acting journey my love of acting and my local community theatre. It took a friend's aunt who was like, hey, your friend likes acting, right? You should get him to audition for this. I went down to the audition not expecting anything, and then by the end of the night was cast as, and this is the first that goes along with this show, this was the first time that I had a lead role in any sort of show. And so what goes along with being the lead is that you are responsible for all of the cast, and you get to have scenes with each of them and bring their journeys out of the script in a really interesting, fun, dynamic way. It was heightened, melodramatic, and gloriously theatrical, all things that I am. And it allowed me to lean fully into like the character work, the voice, the physicality. There was a number of scenes that like just made me laugh so hard. We had the striptease, we had like the fun sex scene in the car, not really, where I put like a metal chastity belt on my head. It was kind of crazy. This is one of the roles where everything clicked and the audience got to come along on a really fantastical, crazy, wild ride journey with me. That's why it comes in at number 2. But coming in at number 1, and I hope you've guessed it by this point, if you haven't, get ready for it, because number 1 has to be Romeo from Romeo and Juliet with Shakespeareans Australia. This is a role I felt I had been building to for the past number of years. I played it in April of this year for one night only at Lane Cove, and it was an outdoor theatre experience. I limited myself to only one Shakespeare because I would just, like, the whole list would be Shakespeare if it could be. I always thought that I would make a good Romeo. I can be sweet and endearing and funny and loving, but what I didn't realize was that Romeo is so bipolar in how he feels. He's this hormonal teenager that goes from loving to fighting to dying. The journey is that Romeo goes through, and to get to experience that and live that and be in that for such an amount of time was so sweet and so wonderful, and I nothing has come close to it thus far in my career. Playing Romeo forced me to put everything together that I'd learned. Classical text, emotional availability, stamina, clarity of storytelling, and genuine vulnerability. That last monologue when he's over Juliet's body is one of the most difficult things that I've had to perform yet, and to talk with people afterwards and say that they knew the monologue I was giving so well and that they thought that I gave it a life they had not seen before was one of the compliments that still sticks with me to this day, that I had that impact on someone as they were watching along. Playing Romeo was joyful, exhausting, terrifying, and deeply affirming. That I knew that this was a role I wanted to do, this is a role that I got to do, and I hope that while I'm still young, I can get to do it again because it was just so transformative. It reminded me why I fell in love with acting in the first place. And that's why it comes in at number 1. If you liked this video, give a like right back to it. Subscribe if you're interested in hearing more of my Sydney theatre thoughts. And if this video has piqued your curiosity about what I'm really like as an actor, I'm appearing in an upcoming production of The Merchant of Venice, coming to a venue near you. Ticket link for that is down below. And be sure to come back back next week because I have a major announcement about the next big acting adventure I'm going to embark on, and it will have an impact on this channel going forward. If you missed it, here are my most anticipated theatre shows of 2026, and other than that, be well, stay safe, don't die, and I'll see you next time.